Alright, so Matt Camper and Pine Power Long Island have had their chances today and have done a terrific job covering the Long Island Railroad. And then I gotta even give Matt credit for letting me know about the subways today. Matt Camper himself. Now it's my turn talking about the big problems with our subways here in Northeast Queens, and I'm even going to mention Astoria because Astoria was actually mentioned on many of the news outlets today. I got to give CBS New York and ABC 7NY for actually covering it today, but they don't want to talk about the E F M&R, so let's get into the issues. First up, Broadway Junction-bound M and southbound R trains had to run with delays because of signal problems at Queens Plaza. That's not even the worst of the issue. R trains had to run along the F from Roosevelt Avenue in Jackson Heights to 57th Street, 7th Avenue in Midtown because of signal problems at Queens Plaza. You see this right here? That was the first problem. Then it transitioned into this problem. I gotta admit, if the Long Island Railroad can use this example of communication, which they did today, which they certainly did today, I'll give them credit for that. And Pine Power's video goes more in depth on that issue today. Maybe they are reading these tweets. I don't know. But the big problem today was Astoria. So here's what happened. First, they officially said it was only the N that had problems because of signal issues at 5th Avenue and 59th Street. Okay, so that's not even the worst of the problem. The worst of the problem came on the R and W trains. So, you're going to be asking me, did this affect the 2nd Avenue subway? Well, yes it did. The N had to run along the 2nd Avenue line in both directions. The R was still running express on the F track. And to give you an idea, the R and the M have its own local track. The F has its own separate track. And if you're ever on the F and you notice, well, excuse that for a sec. I didn't mean for that to happen, but when the editor will fix that later. So, the F has its own tracks, okay? And what happens is, when you're on the F line, you notice by 36th Street, if you ever look out the window when the train is lately stuck there, you notice that you're on your own separate tracks and you're being held up due to train traffic. Keeping in mind, this issue kept going on for 2 hours. 2 hours. People in Astoria couldn't get into Manhattan today because of this during the morning commute. The N and the W had to end up running along the 2nd Avenue subway line. E, F, N, Q, R, and W lines were showing heavy crowds and long wait times because of this. Good news is they made sure Ditmars Boulevard was resuming its normal stops along the W. It didn't take until 12:30 this afternoon to resume regular service. We thought that was bad. R still had problems in both directions because of signal issues at Queens Plaza. The 7 was brought into this too today because there was track maintenance at Flushing Main Street. And then the last big issue today was signal problems at Forest Hills, 71st Avenue on the E, F, M, and R lines. there you have it. That's what happened today. And honestly, the way I view it is, I feel bad for people in Astoria. They had to deal with it today on the N and the W lines today. The R really serves people at 36th Street, and people were impacted by that today. And people who were on the 2nd Avenue subway, I feel bad for you too. The Upper East Side is a very hard place to get to. And I'm pretty sure the M31 was packed today than it normally was going along York Street. Quickly pull up the new tweet. I'm going to read it randomly, but it probably won't be anything that impacts Queens. Yep, nothing that impacts Queens. The point I'm trying to make here is this. Astoria train riders. I think today you understood how it feels taking the express subway here in Queens. How it really feels dealing with the E and the F lately. Because it's a big, enormous headache. And honestly, I don't know what else to say. And at least with the subways. And you notice something with this cover photo here is that, alright, well, it's just a train supervisor making sure that the train can go along the 4 line. Yeah, well, keeping in mind, the 4, 5, and 6 are the most heavily used line in the system. It's the most packed and it's the most used. And it goes between the Bronx and Brooklyn. But honestly, I understand Andy Byford's been only on the job for a month. But things need to take place now. Because remember what our wonderful governor said last year when he declared the subway a state of emergency? New Yorkers need the subway. It's their livelihood. Well, it used to be for me, and now it won't be. Now it won't be because, honestly, I don't have any other answers. I don't know what else am I supposed to say anymore except the Long Island Railroad is certainly beneficial to me if I take the Babylon branch because I have a lot of friends who use it, and if I ever go into Manhattan with them, that's the branch I would normally use in that situation. But I agree with Pine Power quickly. The Long Island Railroad needs improvement. Nowakowski can give his excuses. I don't want to hear it from him anymore. I really don't. I'll quickly bring that up. I don't want to hear it from him. So I'll just end it there. I suggest you watch his video on the Long Island Railroad that he did tonight. I'm only here to comment on the subway, and my final thought is Andy Byford needs to do something. Anything. De Blasio's not going to give the MTA money. Cuomo is just going to give his usual smirky excuse. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. We need funding. That's what we need. We need a clear revenue stream going to the subways. Right, that's the bottom line. And I want the signals and I want the tracks improved on the E and the F. That's not too much to ask. They should be doing it. They should be doing it overnight. Plain simple. And I'm going to fix that for the next video. But yeah, that's basically it. That's all I have to say. So any other updates, I'll keep you guys posted. But it's been a very rough day for people riding the subway here in Queens. And I have to get the word out regarding this issue. So take care.